FlossTube. My name is Becca and I'm Sambree Stitches here on FlossTube and Instagram. And this is another special edition of Interview with a FlossTuber. Today I'm excited to be here with Amanda. Her channel is a fairly newer FlossTube channel. It's called Alba Stitcher. But a lot of people have been talking about the channel. And I enjoy her videos because we tend to have similar tastes, I've noticed, in what she stitches. And I absolutely love that. And also sometimes we get a shot of her gorgeous fur baby in the background every so often. And her cat is named Alba, so it's pretty cool. If you have not checked out her channel, I will put the links down below, but you definitely must go over there and check it out. You'll love all the pieces that she stitches. So how are you doing this morning, Amanda?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm fine. Even though it's the afternoon for me.
Yeah, that's true. It's morning for me, actually. We were just talking about that too. Like, I just woke up and you're finishing your day. So
yeah, 5 minutes ago I was working and now I'm here. So this is much better than work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. And thank you very much for asking me to join. I'm really happy.
Of course, I'm excited. All right. Well, let's get jumping into the questions. The first one is, why did you start a FlossTube and were there any particular motivations?
Okay. I think I had been watching FlossTube for quite a while. And by that, I mean years. And I kept saying, oh, maybe I'll do a video. But, you know, unless you make an effort, it never happens. So eventually, I think at the end of last year, around about October time, I thought it's time to make an effort here, because I would quite like to capture, first of all, what I was stitching and also how my stitching was progressing. I like the idea of having some sort of collection of what I had done and how it had changed. You know, I don't know if that's how other people see it. I don't have any children, so maybe people like to leave it as a kind of memory for their children, but for me, it would be for my own, you know, purpose, that I could look back and say, oh yeah, I remember stitching that, or I stitched this. So yeah, that kind of thing. But motivated, I think, by watching other FlossTubers. I think that was really the motivating factor when I saw other people do it. Then you want to be like, oh, I want to do it.
Yeah, I want to be part of that community. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
The cool kids. I want to be with the cool kids. Yeah, so that's it.
And I think that kind of, you know, answers the second question, because the second one's do you have a blog? It's a subscriber question, but it sounds like you use your YouTube channel kind of as your video blog, your vlog.
I don't have a blog at all. Yeah, I would say either the FlossTube, or before that was my Instagram. I have quite a full Instagram. I post a lot on my stitching, but not daily, but maybe every, I don't know, maybe twice a week of what I'm stitching, or what I've what I've bought, you know, kind of haul. But yeah, I don't have a blog like normal people. So like I think FlossTube vlog version. Yeah.
I think a lot of the people that I have interviewed use YouTube and use Instagram as kind of their blog as of now. Maybe blogs will make a comeback. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
So the next question is, how did you learn to stitch and how long have you been stitching?
Okay, so I'm self-taught. I don't have anybody in my family who stitches at all. My mum knits, but she hasn't really knitted in years. But I remember as a child her knitting us clothes. So, you know, remember, and I'm Scottish, so sometimes it was nice and useful things like a cardigan or like a jumper, but sometimes it would be like a swimming costume, and then it's not quite as useful. A kind of knitted swimming costume when you're a child is not good. So she knits, but I think maybe I'm a certain age, so I'm going back a few years. I had picked up a cross-stitch magazine with the little kits on the front. So I did a couple of them, but what happened was then I went to university and life, and you know, and I just fell away from it. And then about 5 years ago or 4 years ago, something like that, I decided, well, maybe I'll try it again, pick it up. and then there's like, I went down the rabbit hole, big style.
That's what
and
happens.
I now have boxes and boxes of stash. I have, you name it, I have it. So yeah, so I would say in the last 5 years, really, it gained momentum, and I blame all the floss tubers, to be honest.
Yep, very
Every time I
enabling.
watch someone, yeah, they're showing oh, I bought this chart, and look at this lovely floss, and you're like, well, you get pause, oh, go away, get it. So,
yep, exactly.
I'm a victim. Yeah, you've all corrupted me. So yeah, I would say about 5 years or so. Yeah, but it's all self-taught.
Do you have like a needle workshop over there, or how do you get your supplies?
We have nothing from where I live now. We have absolutely nothing local. Everything would be by online.
Oh, okay.
So we would buy, but I'll buy it from anywhere. I'll buy from Australia. I'll buy from America. I'll buy from other parts of Europe. I don't mind. I am not discriminatory in any way. Anybody can have my money.
Nice.
So yeah, I go hunting for what I want, and then I find it.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
neat.
But I wish I did have a local needlework store. I do believe there's some further down south in England. So maybe once the lockdown kind of quietens and we get back to normal,
Yeah,
I can do a road trip.
road
Maybe.
trip. Yeah, road trips are definitely worth it. I think my local needle workshop that I consider is about 3+ hours away. We do have one, I think that's like an hour and a half away, but it's so tiny. So I just go down to Portland. But yeah. So do you have a favorite project that you've stitched so far?
I think I did pull one. I did read the questions. I did pull one that I think was close to my heart when I stitched it. But to be honest, I like everything that I stitch on. If I don't like it, I stop stitching on it.
Yeah.
If some of my projects are in time out because of what I've done, whether it's a mistake that I need to somehow get my head around, or yeah, so some of them go in time out, but I would say this is probably my most favourite project that I've stitched. I don't know if you
I
can
love
see it.
that
It's the
one.
Barbara Anna one.
Yep.
The All Hallows Eve. I just loved it. I just love stitching on it. And I've stitched a couple of Barbara Anna. I just love her designs. So at the moment, that's my most favourite. But I like most things. Everything that I'm stitching on, I like.
Well, you have to like everything you're stitching on, otherwise it doesn't make it enjoyable. Except for me, my husband wants this certain piece. I showed it in my whip parade. It's the Elks. I do not enjoy stitching on it at all, but he likes it, so I need to start working on it. So I guess there's
yeah, I think there's a line, and sometimes you just do a few threads and you think, right, okay, tomorrow I'll do a few more, and that's the way of doing it. Yeah,
push your way through it.
Yeah, I think so.
So what do you enjoy most about stitching?
I probably quite like making something. Like I like trying to create something. I think that's probably, not that I'm big at finishing. I'm not big at finishing, but I actually like the whole process of producing something at the end of it. Mm-hmm. And it's something obviously that you like and you can look at, and so that I like that. It's very enjoyable. I mean, it's very relaxing, and it can be a solitary hobby, but it can also be a very sociable hobby, which I think is good as well. And I think with FlossTube and social media in general, it's a great way of connecting with people. I mean, I've connected with people all over the world. Yeah. I have never met these people, but I've created a bond with them. Yeah. And I think that's really, it's wonderful. And people, we do connect, and we chat, and how are you doing? And sometimes it's about more than just stitching. Yeah. And I think that's a great reflection on the stitching community. It maybe happens in other crafts, maybe it happens in the knitting and crochet and all the other ones, but I'm not part of that, so I'm guessing it is the same. Yeah. But it's a great talent, and it's a great hobby for making things that you enjoy.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And especially with starting your channel, I'm sure that you've kind of made more friendships that way too, because I know a lot of my subscribers have been with me from the beginning, and the comments that they leave or the emails that they send, you get to talking, and you develop a friendship more than just them being a subscriber and you being a floss tuber. So it's pretty amazing. It really is. So we are going to get out of stitching just a little bit, and we're going to talk about getting to know you a little bit more. So what's your favorite genre of book or movie?
I do read quite a lot. I do like psychological thrillers. Nice. A little bit. I'm sorry that the camera is moving, but that is the cat, Alba.
Alba!
So she has visited, but she's a bit shy, so you might see her. I apologise. So yeah, I do quite like a bit of psychological thriller. Not so much horror for movies, but like something that's a little bit gets your kind of brain thinking. So yeah, Alba.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Sorry, I'm aware that this might just go off.
Yeah, like that's all right. So do you have a fictional place that you'd most like to go to?
Yeah, that's a difficult one, I think. But do you know what I discovered quite recently? Is that I watched the Gilmore Girls, and I watched the whole lot of it on Netflix. And I think I would like to go to Stars Hollow. There you go. Can you send me there? One-way ticket will be fine.
I would go with you, because I actually just binge watched the whole, series as well.
Yeah, I did the whole lot because I'd seen a lot of kind of references to it, and I thought I need to watch. I've missed it somehow. I missed it. So I watched it all. So that's where I'm going. So we'll set up a craft shop there. Yeah?
Yeah, that'd be perfect. I love the little small town feel that it gives. You walk through and everybody knows your name and, that kind of thing. So I love that show. I love it. So if you could choose to do anything for a day, what would it be?
Oh, not sure. That's a difficult one. I did read the questions. I'm not sure. I don't want to be kind of, I don't know. I would, Oh, I'm not sure. I think maybe, do you know what I would quite like to do, actually, which would be great? To go to the Natural History Museum in London with nobody else. So just me.
That would be cool.
And then I get to see everything and nobody's like in front of me, and I would quite like that. That would be quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing, because you'd have the whole place to yourself. You could take as long as you want. Oh, that'd be cool. So do you happen to have any other hobbies besides cross stitch?
I don't really. I do read. I also watch movies and stuff like that, but I don't really have another hobby. But I would like, maybe when I retire, I would quite like to do pottery. So that's something that I would like to do at some point in the future. I don't have time to do it now, but in the future I would quite like to try pottery. I mean, it might be, I might be rubbish at it, but at least I would try.
I think that would be fun, though. Do you have a place? Because, like, here we have a little business that you can go in and, like, make plates and stuff like that. Do you have something like that?
We have a ceramic centre in Glasgow that you can go and take classes and like that. So it would be possible. It is possible. So yeah, I would like to do that in the future at some point.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat. Then you can have like.
At the moment, all my money just goes on cross stitch.
Yeah, well, cross stitch does take up a lot of time and space, so yeah, definitely. So this is one of my favorite questions, and it's, how would your friends describe you?
So I did ask some friends.
Nice.
I did ask them. And somebody was like, crazy cat woman. So somebody just came out and was like, yeah, you're that crazy cat woman that we all have. A lot of people will say, we've described me as being quite opinionated. I'm quite headstrong at times, but also very soft at heart, if that makes sense. So yeah, I can be a big softie at times. But yeah, Crazy Cat Lady kind of sums me up, I think. I have only one cat. I think above that it can become an addiction. But yeah, I have only one cat. So yeah, that's probably how most people would describe me.
Yeah. Nice. Crazy Cat Lady. That's awesome.
Crazy Cat Lady, which is fine. It's not offensive at all in any way. I don't cry in my pillow at night or anything.
Well, I'm glad that you reached out, because I love when the Floss Tubers will reach out to friends, because, you know, kind of helps you discover what they think of you as well. It's fun to try and find that out. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So we're going to get back into stitching a little bit, and it's, how do you prefer to stitch? Do you use a hoop, a Q-snap, a frame, that kind of thing?
I'm a Q-snap girl.
Yes, me too.
Q-snap. I do sometimes stitch with a hoop. I have one here. So I'd sometimes stitch with a hoop as well.
Okay. Oh, you have the spring one.
If it's a small design. But most of the time it's a Q-snap. And 8x11 is, for me, is perfect. That's the kind of size I hold, because I don't use a stand. I hold in my hand. I've tried the sewing method. I don't know. I just can't. I've tried, but I just... And people tell me if you just keep trying, you know, persevere and you'll get it. But then I'm not enjoying my stitching. Yeah. So I'm like, oh no, give me my Q-snap back.
Yeah, I was right there with you. I tried to do the in-hand sewing and I can't do it. So I'm definitely a Q-snap girl as well. So yeah.
Yeah. I might invest in a Lowry and see if I like that. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll try a Lowry so I can stitch with two hands, still with a Q-snap, but will be quicker.
I got a Kay's Creation lap stand that just kind of sits on my lap and it holds my Q-snaps, and I can two-hand stitch with that, which is really nice. So it just depends on how you stitch, I guess, like where you sit, if you wanted like a floor stand or a lap stand, but it works amazing. So
okay, I might try that. But I feel as if I'm a really slow stitcher.
Yeah.
Like I feel I'm really slow. And my mum, I'm back living with my parents, and my mum was like, oh my God, you're so quick. You're so quick. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not quick. If you think I'm quick, I'm not quick. I'm slow. But it's about the enjoyment of it. It's not.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would rather have 10 finished projects that I've enjoyed than 21 that I've just kind of rushed through. So yeah, I would much rather do it like that.
Yeah, I totally get that, because last year I did my fully finished kind of parade at the end, and I did a lot of smalls, and I realized that I rushed through a lot of those because I'm a seasonal like decor stitcher. I like to put my pieces out for like whatever holiday it is. And I realized like towards the end of the year that I did get a little bit burnt out, not enough to stop stitching, but I realized that I wanted to, you know, slow down. I wanted to take time and work on my bigger pieces, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's good to not be rushing and a fast stitcher. I think you get burnt out, or you get, I don't know, overwhelmed or something like that. So
yeah, I would like to chat with someone who maybe is very quick, to find out if that's what happens. Like after maybe 2 months, you're like, I don't want to do any stitching for a week. Whereas touch wood, so far that I've always managed to just keep going. You know, when a project finishes, I'm like, okay, where's the next one? What do I want to do next? I've got the next 15 all lined up, but I know what I want to do next. So maybe being slow and steady is better.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, from the videos that you've put out, you know, now, I think that your pace is just fine. Like you have content to show, and you don't want to rush it. I think that's what I was doing, was because I wanted stuff to show, I would just whip out all these, you know, smalls and that kind of thing. Oh, there's a hummingbird. Do you see the hummingbird back there? Oh, it just flew off.
Oh, yeah.
That was so cool.
Wow.
So do you happen to have a preferred like fabric type that you like, or do you kind of stitch on everything?
I do stitch on everything. I have a favorite at the moment, I have a favourite, which is Picture This Plus Fawn.
Okay.
I love that. That's what this one is on. The Fawn, I think it's a great neutral.
It's a perfect neutral.
So yeah, that's probably my favourite, and most likely 32 count. Yeah, although I just finished Deanna's Darling Whimsy and Design. She's doing the little quirky Quakers, so I've got a little addiction with them. And that's what I was working on, the Fishbone. But at the weekend, I was working on the Lovebirds, and I did that on Ada, 18 count Ada. It was great. So yeah, I kind of stitch on anything.
On anything.
Which I think is a good approach. Yeah, choice.
Yeah, it is kind of nice, I guess, to have a little bit of a selection of fabrics. I'm an Ada only stitcher, so I like my Ada.
Yeah, but for years I only stitched on Ada. Honestly, for years and years, I only stitched on Ada. I don't have great eyesight. And then I realised, hey, get yourself a light. If you get a light, it will change.
Hey!
Don't try and stitch in the dark and then wonder why you have problems. So yeah, I stitched on Ada for a long time and I loved it. Hand-dyed Ada, always loved it. You always get a great kind of product.
Yep.
And then I think either I bought some even weave or linen, and then that just opened a different door for me. That was all. It just opened a different door. So yeah, Ada's great.
Nice.
It really is.
Nice. So do you have a favorite place that you've traveled? And did you bring any stitching along when you went?
Oh, I take stitching everywhere.
Me too.
I've always got a little bag of something, and I used to take the train to work. Not now because I'm working from home, but I used to take the train and I would always have stitching. So I used to stitch always. But no matter where I go on holiday, I will take stitching. And last year, so not 2020, but 2019, the company I worked for at Christmas time, they took us to a different country for our kind of Christmas break, whatever it was, our Christmas treat.
Yeah. And
I'm at the airport. We had a delay, and I'm at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, and they're all just sitting around playing on their phones, and I'm stitching. So
yes,
I take stitching everywhere, even on a work trip. I took my stitching.
Nice.
I think it's a good habit to have. It's a really good habit to have.
Yeah, even
you never
if you
know when you're going to get.
Yeah,
when you're going to get stuck at the doctor's or at the dentist, and you'll be sorted.
That's what I do. If I go for an oil change and I have to sit there, I have my stitching out. And it's kind of neat. Now, not so much because of COVID, but before people would approach, I'd be like, oh, what are you working on? Or something like that. And then you strike up a conversation with strangers over what you're doing, which is kind of neat too. So, yeah.
That happened to me once on the train, going to work in the morning. And I genuinely, I do not know what I was stitching at the time. And this man approached me and he was like, oh, that's really nice. Can I buy that? Can I buy it? I want to give it to my wife or girlfriend or whatever. Can I buy it? And I was like, oh, no, sorry. Not for sale. So
people actually realized how much our pieces would cost with the time and the supplies. I don't think.
No.
It's hard to put a price on that.
Yeah, it was quite nice just to even have that connection.
Yep.
But that was years ago.
Yeah. I would definitely feel flattered for somebody who just said, can I buy that? Like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Nice. So what can you not do without for your stitching? Like your favorite go-to must-have besides the basics?
You know what? Apart from a light, because now I've realised light is important. Do you know what I found very useful for me in my bad eyesight? And I've maybe not got one here. Sorry for the noise.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's one of these little things. So I have one, which is great. I normally have them everywhere. It's one of these things. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah, threader. Yeah.
The threaders.
I use that too.
I need this. I'm an old lady now. I need this for sure. So yeah, when I first started and I did the little kits from the the magazine all those years ago, yeah, I wouldn't need anything like this. Now, I need this.
Yep.
So I see plenty of people, they don't use anything, but I can't thread a needle for the life of me, so I need one of these threaders.
Yeah, I use those too. I put, like the scissor fobs that people make, if they'll send me as gifts or whatever, I have clipped it on because there's a hole on that. So I don't use it. So I clip it on there so it's a little bit harder to lose since it's such a small piece. And I have a few different ones with like pretty little fobs on the end of them.
Okay, so that needs to be what I do.
Yeah.
Because I ended up having to buy, because I kept losing them. I mean, I lose them all the time.
Yep, because they're small.
I said to my mum, I've bought a bag. A bag is coming of them, and I now have a bag of 50. So that'll last me about a month. A bag of 50 will last me a month.
That's funny.
But I'll be started.
Yeah, you need to put some fobs on the end of those. Yeah. They just clip right into that little hole.
I didn't know that trick. I needed to speak to a stitcher to get that trick. I didn't know that.
Well, I did the same thing. I kept losing them, and it was so annoying because, I was like, I need that. So, yeah, I just started sticking something on there so it's a little bit harder to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you decide on what you're going to work on next for your projects?
Oh, I have an immense amount of stash. I mean, it's shocking. In the time that I've been kind of more actively stitching, I have a wealth of projects, but I always kind of know what I want to be working on next, if that makes sense. So I probably have around 30 whips, but that won't stop me from starting another 5 if I feel like it. And just actually at the weekend there, I'm thinking, so I started something new, and I'm like, I can probably squeeze in another new start of what I want to do. It's just maybe whatever is either maybe just newly released, and I thought, oh, I like that, and I've managed to get the supplies, or I've managed to do a conversion, and I definitely want that. Or it's one that's been a slow burner in the back of my mind for a while. An example of that one would be, I finished the Blackbird design, 'Tis the Season.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that. But I have sat on that for about a year. Like, I should do it. And then eventually I had everything. I had the fabric chosen. I had the threads. I had everything ready to go. And then I thought, right, I just pick it up and start it. And I really enjoyed stitching on that one.
Nice. Yeah, that's a pretty piece.
So I think if you have kind of a little mental list of what you want to be doing next, then you want to kind of get to it. So yeah.
I like that. Yeah. You're just gonna kind of whatever is calling to you and whatever you kind of want to get done. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of gifts. I do some gifts, but I don't do lots of gifts. Someone asked me to stitch her thank you cards for our wedding. But this is a non-stitcher. Yeah, a non-stitcher who had no idea she'd need to tell me 3 years before she wanted them.
Right.
Instead of like 3 weeks. So I don't really do a lot of gifts unless it's for somebody's Christmas or maybe birthday, or I've got an idea. Because I fail miserably at it. It's a disgrace. I had planned to stitch my parents one thing for Christmas. I didn't stitch it. I got it all kitted up. I stitched something else, and I still didn't do it in time for Christmas. So, yeah. I'm sorted for next Christmas because I finished stitching it now.
You just got to start it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did kind of the same thing. I just did smaller pieces, but again, it was just like I whipped them out and got burnt out. So if you start it now, maybe you can have it done by then, so you don't have to rush.
Yeah.
A little bit of planning, I guess.
Yeah.
So we are down to the last question.
Okay.
This is one of my favorites, and it can be for 2020, or since we're almost, through January, it could be this year too, but it's, what's the best thing that has happened to you so far this year?
This interview, that's been the best thing ever. So far.
Yay!
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, well, let's just say it's only what's today, the 19th of January?
Yep.
That you've made my year.
Aww.
You should be really proud. You've made my year. This is delightful.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
Come on.
I'm glad.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, I was so excited that you said yes, and that you wanted to do this interview because your channel, a lot of people have been talking about it, and it's a pretty awesome channel. So I thank you for that.
Well, that's nice.
You just made my year by saying that.
It's true. Here,
Yay!
she can say hello.
Oh,
You're going to say hello? You're not going to say hello?
So pretty.
Yeah. You don't want to say hello? Don't knock the camera down, please.
Yeah. We're almost done. So if you knock the camera down, we're good. Well, good. I'm glad that Alba made an appearance as well. So that just made it even
really
better.
Good.
So thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know that you were working all day and then just came and sat down for the interview, and I just woke up. So, but
will you work today? Will you go to work today or?
No, I don't work during the week. I just work on the weekends. So I will just be going and stitching after this.
Yeah, that's really nice. Get yourself some coffee, you know.
Most definitely.
Put on some podcasts or whatever, yeah, and then you can stitch. Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we'll say bye to everybody on FlossTube.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.